Good morning and Jai Gurudev to all of you. Today is our part 4 of Matter and Surrounding. In today's class, we will actually try to complete the chapter. In today's class, we will try to complete the chapter, and after that, in the upcoming classes, in one class, we will do your NCRT in text question and exercise question. So these are the few topics which are left in this chapter actually. So we will look into this topic now. Today, at first we will see what is latent heat. We will try to understand what we mean by the term. Yeah, we'll try to understand what is meant by the term latent heat. And then we will know today there are actually two types of latent heat. One is latent heat of fusion and another one is latent heat of vaporization. So you will see what is latent heat of fusion and what is latent heat of vaporization. And after that we will see the different scale of temperature. Actually we will be looking at the two scale of temperature. One is a Celsius scale of temperature and another is a Kelvin scale of temperature. So we will be looking at these two scale of temperature and we will be looking how what is the relation between the two scales of temperature. So at first let us start with what do you understand by latent heat. See, first line you see, normally when we heat a substance, the temperature rises, right? Generally what we expect we expect that whenever we are heating a substance, whenever we are heating a substance, we expect then the temperature will rise, but it does not happen always. Always the temperature does not rise on heating. So this is a case of latent heat. So this is the case of latent heat. It is not latent. Extremely sorry. This is the case of latent. It will be latent. This is the case of latent heat. Okay. Okay. So what is latent heat? See, suppose we have a solid. Right. Suppose we have a solid. And in our last class, we have seen what the solid has the strongest intermolecular force of attraction between them. The molecular force of attraction is strongest. The molecular force of attraction, that is the force of attraction between the two molecules, is strongest in case of what? Is strongest in case of solid. Now, when we are supplying heat in it, as we have said in the earlier class, the symbol of heat is represented by a symbol delta. When we are supplying heat on it, first the temperature will not rise. First, this molecular force of attraction between them will be break. That means for some amount of heat we are supplying to the beaker will be used up for breaking the molecular force of attraction. So the amount of heat that is required to transfer liquid into gas or solid into liquid is known as latent heat. So what is latent heat? Latent heat is the temperature. Latent heat is the amount of heat. Latent heat is the amount of heat that is required to change a solid into liquid without rising the temperature. Why? Why here the temperature is not right when we are converting solid into liquid by heat? Because the amount of heat is used up in breaking the intermolecular force of attraction between the solid and in between the liquid also. So there are two types of latent heat. One is a latent heat of fusion and another one is a latent heat of vaporization. There are two types of latent heat. One is a latent heat of fusion and another one is a latent heat of vaporization. We will see them one by one now. So the first one we will be looking at is a latent heat of fusion. Is a latent heat of fusion. You see, there is a beaker. You see, there is a beaker, and inside the beaker you can see what we have taken. We have taken ice. We have taken what? Ice. Right? Inside the beaker we have taken ice and we have put one thermometer here. We have put it one thermometer here. You can see the different marking in thermometer is given 0, 10, 1, 3, these are given. Right? We put a one tripod stand which is also known as an iron stand. So we have taken one iron stand. In iron stand we are holding the thermometer. Right? We have a beaker there. Right? This is a beaker. This is a thermometer we are holding on. Correct. We have put some ice there and there is an wire gauge. There is an wire gauge. Right. I think you have seen the wire gauge also. If you have not seen, we will see. I will show you in the lab that what is wire gauge and what is burner and triple stand. So I think from the diagram you can understand what is burner. Burner is basically used for heating, right? So above the burner we have a beaker, and beaker we have some ice, and we have some ice, and we have put the thermometer here. Okay? So and see now what is latent heat of fusion. Say latent heat of fusion is the quantity of heat in joules, is the quantity of heat in joules required to convert 1 kg of the solid to liquid without any change in temperature. You understand? Without any change in temperature. So the amount of the heat that will be required, that will be required, that will be required for the ice, that is ice is here solid, to get converted into liquid without changing its temperature, without changing its temperature, is known as latent heat of fusion. Is known as latent heat of fusion. Understand? So it is the amount of the heat that is actually required, to break. It is actually the amount of energy that is actually required to break the strong force of attraction between the solid and convert it into a rather weaker force of attraction, so that the solid gets converted into liquid. Now come to the next one, latent heat of vaporization. So now what we have taken, again say this is the one, this is the triple stand. Here we have taken again triple stand. Correct? We have taken a triple stand here. This is the beaker. This is the beaker. In beaker we have water. See? We have one stirrer. The stirrer is just used to stir the things, and all this experiment actually we can do in our lab also. No issues like that. There is, you can see there is a thermometer. Right? And this is the beaker, and this is the wire gauge, and this is the burner we have. So what is the latent heat of vaporization? It is the amount of heat, right? It is the amount of heat required. It is the amount of heat required to. It is the amount of heat required to change the liquid into vapor. Liquid into vapor means liquid into gas, right? Without increase in temperature. See? The latent is the amount of is the quantity of heat in joules required to convert 1 kilogram of the liquid to vapor without any change in temperature. So I think we have understand what is latent heat. Latent heat is the amount of heat required to change the phase. That is, phase means that is to change from solid to liquid or liquid to gas without changing their temperature. Then we have seen what do we mean by the latent heat of fusion. What is latent heat of fusion? Latent heat of fusion is the amount of heat in joules required to convert 1 kg of solid amount of heat in joules required to convert 1 kg of solid into liquid. 1 kg of solid into liquid. And what is latent heat of vaporization? What is latent heat of vaporization? Latent heat of vaporization is the amount of heat in joules required to convert is the amount of heat in joules, right? Amount of heat in joules required to convert 1 kg of the liquid into the vapor phase. Okay, into the vapor phase. Now we will be looking at the different scales of temperature. See, when we have a temperature, we measure the temperature, right? For example, we measure the temperature of anything, right? We know that the melting point of ice is 0 degree centigrade, the boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade. Sometimes when we get fever also, we measure the temperature, right? We also know the normal body temperature. So these are the two great scientists who have given the different scales of temperature. Andreas Celsius, he has given a scale of temperature which is known as degree Celsius. He has said that we can measure the temperature of anything by the help of a degree Celsius, right? And then we have a Lord William Thomson Kelvin. Then we have Lord William Thomson Kelvin. Lord William Thomson Kelvin. And we have a Lord William Thomson Kelvin, and he has given us the another scale of temperature. Just wait for a minute. I am busy in work now. Now, see. We have to know what we mean by the SI unit of measuring. We have to know what we mean by the SI unit of measuring. See. There is an SI unit of measuring, and SI unit is a standard unit of measuring. SI unit is a standard unit of measuring. SI unit is a standard unit of temperature. Now, see why the SI unit is important. Why the standard unit is important, you see. For example, when we go out and buy something, we use a specific unit. We use a specific unit, right? We use a specific unit. For example, when we go and buy, suppose we go to the shop and we want to buy an oil, and we say that give me 1 liter of oil, right? So here liter is what? Liter is unit. Now suppose the different places using the different units. For example, we at Silchar is using a liter, and suppose a place liter staying in USA is using another unit. Suppose they're using capital X. Then someday if you go to USA or you do some research and you write in your research paper 1 liter or like that, then the people in USA will not understand what you are speaking of actually, because they don't have the concept of liter. So this kind of problem does not happen. This kind of problem does not happen. So what does scientists do? Scientists set a standard unit. Scientists set a standard unit means a unit that will be used all over the world. That will be used all over the world. And liter is of course a standard unit. Just told you to give you the example actually. So you will be learning more about the standard unit in your class 11. That what are the different standard unit? There are actually the 7 basic SI units. There are actually 7 basic units. From these 7 basic units, we can derive units of all the other things, right? And these 7 basic units you will be learning in your higher classes. For now on, you just know in case of temperature, the SI unit is Kelvin. In case of temperature, the SI unit is Kelvin. When we are speaking of the temperature, we will be using the SI unit. We will be using the SI unit of Kelvin. Okay. Now, see here. Thing is that the Celsius is a very common unit. Means Celsius has been widely used. Celsius degree Celsius have been widely used by people. So though SI unit is Kelvin, but degree Celsius is also being used by the people. So there is a relation between the Kelvin scale and Celsius scale. And what is the relation? This is very important. We will do some numerical now based on this one. So see, what is temperature on Kelvin scale? Temperature on Kelvin scale is equal to temperature on Celsius scale plus 273 degree. This is the relation between the Celsius scale and Kelvin scale. Yeah. Though I am giving the notes, but if you wanted to write anything from here, you can just pause the video and write or take the screenshot. But I will be giving the notes, so nothing worry about this one. See, let us solve the first numerical problem that I have taken from your NCERT book actually. NCERT book question. See, you have to convert 25 degrees C into Kelvin. So we know the relation is temperature on Kelvin scale is equal to temperature on Celsius scale plus 273 degree. So here it is given 25 degrees C. That means here temperature on Celsius scale is given to us. And how much it is given? 25 degrees C. We are asked to find out what? We are asked to find out the temperature on Kelvin scale. So we have just written the formula. The temperature on Kelvin scale is equal to temperature on Celsius scale plus 273. And what is the temperature? Here it is 25 because the temperature on Celsius scale is given 25 and plus 273. So you add them two, you will be getting 298 Kelvin. Right. Thus, a temperature of 20, that is 25 degrees C is equal to how many Kelvin? 25 degrees C is equal to 298 Kelvin. 25 degrees C is equal to 298 Kelvin. Now come to another numerical problem. See, here you have to convert 300 Kelvin into Celsius. In the earlier numerical problem, what you have done, you have converted Celsius into Kelvin. So some Celsius is given and you have converted it into Kelvin. Right. Celsius was given and you have converted it into Kelvin. Now in this numerical, the value is given in Kelvin and you have to do it what? You have to convert it into Celsius. So see, you know the formula, the temperature on Kelvin scale equal to temperature on Celsius scale plus 273. So here temperature on Kelvin scale is given 300, you put the value there 300. Temperature on Celsius scale it is not given because we need to find this one plus 273 formula. So temperature of Celsius scale, this is plus 273, when it goes to this side it will be minus 273 and when you do the subtraction it will be 27 degrees centigrade. That means our 300 Kelvin is equivalent to 27 degree centigrade. Is equivalent to 27 degree centigrade. So thank you. We have completed this chapter today. In the next class, I will be solving some of your NCERT questions with you. And I will be giving you an assignment also. So thank you. Stay well. Do keep doing the meditations. Study well. Right. Stay safe.